in the immediate future, someone's going to be the mayor
right.
in
yes.
a few months.
Yeah.
What do you think's going to happen in this mayoral race?
It's certainly interesting. It's funny. I was thinking about it because people were talking about, like, it's so messy and it's so... I think messy is the word people use the most often.
Yeah. Dog's breakfast, I heard.
Yeah.
I mean, for poor Mario Canseco, he said it's been a nightmare for him.
It's a pollster's nightmare. Yeah. But
nightmare.
I'm a lot of a democracy nerd.
Yeah.
This is how democracy is supposed to work.
Yeah.
Like, in its ideal, like, we would all come forward with ideas and put them on the table.
Yeah. And
of course, only one gets to, like, actually do the job, but it's not unhealthy. It's actually preferable that you have more ideas on the table. But it's been... So then I'm like, well, so does that make it unhealthy that the last elections haven't been messy, right? So I've thought about that, something I can reflect more on at Harvard. But I do think if I had to sort of look back on the last, my decade on council, one of the challenges I think that we have had as a government is that our opposition hasn't been that strong. They haven't put... I think democracies function better when there's lots of strong visions on the table and you work together to try and pull out the best ideas from that. Yeah. It's been a bit flimsy, right? I mean, we've put some strong ideas on the table. Yeah. There's personality-driven or partisan attacks on it, and that's not going to make better policy. So I'm hoping this process at least pushes some good policy forward.
So, I mean, you're supporting Ian Campbell in his bid. He's running for mayor of Vancouver under the Vision banner.
Yeah.
Do you have any specific role in the campaign, or are you?
No, I was co-chair during the nomination process, but now it's merged. Now that he's gotten through that phase and successfully nominated, he's now in the hands of the party.
So, why do you think Campbell would be a good candidate?
Well, I've seen him be the leader of a government, and he's fantastic at it. If you think our council meetings can get a little raucous, the politics in smaller communities generally can be a bit more intense because everybody shops at the same stores, they walk on the same street, like it's a very close community, right? And then of course in Indigenous communities you're dealing with the federal government more in a much more significant way than we have to on a day-to-day basis, the provincial government, the latent issues around housing, around access to education, jobs, these are all very live, real issues with intense consequences in the community as in Vancouver, but the people that they're impacting all of them. So I've seen him lead, pretty diverse viewpoints into consensus around major transformative change projects. And from my perspective, as you were pointing out, it's going to be a council that's going to have diverse perspectives. He is a person who can do that. I also, I do a lot of work on reconciliation, and it appeals to me that this could be the time when we can actually make this bold move forward. It's a big idea that we are ready as a city to move past acknowledging territory and, the more protocol pieces, which are important, but actually move to deep action, like substantial, significant, and tangible reconciliation. Yeah.
Any thoughts about the field of council candidates, or?
It's really great. It's great to see a majority of women running. That's pretty. That's very new. I mean, you look. The one thing I would say about the other parties, even if I wasn't at the nomination, the pictures I saw, they looked older and whiter. So, but it's good to hear that there's more ethnic and linguistic diversity. Not a lot of women though, and Hector's party is. It's just like I haven't heard a single woman running for Hector's party yet, which is to me a bit startling in this day and age. Ian's campaign, you've got a woman campaign manager and a woman executive, and our slate for council of the 7, 4 of them are women. So I'm excited about that. Plus you've got Heather Deal already through the process. So hoping there'll be more women in this round. It really does make a difference to have all genders represented in government. Yeah.
I mean, will Heather have a bit of a tough job next year, assuming that she is successful in her re-election bid? Is she's going to be sort of, I guess, the longest serving person there with so much turnover? Is that going to be tough to kind of help with that transition and steer the ship and be kind of the elder statesperson?
You'd probably have to ask her to get a direct idea.
I've talked to her about it briefly, yeah.
My sense is she's definitely up for it.
Yeah.
She did it in 2008 because they were the longest serving counselors then. It was only a term, but they had to onboard me and Carrie and Jeff and Gregor, right?
Yeah.
So this isn't her first rodeo on this front.
As you look back, are there any particular frustrations or something that you wish you could, as you say, you try to sort of have a list and tick those items off, or are there any particular things that stand out? Something, either something you couldn't get over the goal line, or something that didn't work out, or just even just a procedural thing that you found frustrating about the system? Does anything stand out?
One of the things to consider is that cities are creatures of the province, right? I'm air quoting creatures, but we have very little control over our process and procedure, and the procedure and process we do have largely dates back to the early 1900s. So it was intended for a time when we did all shop in the same one store in town, and like it's definitely not 2018 proof, and I don't even think it's like 1995 proof, right? In terms of public expectations around the 2018, like it just never anticipated social media. I'm not supposed to hear a single word about a public hearing after it closes before we vote on it, but that would pretty much mean I'd have to hermetically seal myself. It's not unrealistic. And then it's unrealistic. It's a devolution of a British parliamentary system through a province to a city. Like, there's lots about it that just isn't. You kind of have to work around it as opposed to with it in a productive way. But we do the best we can.